Merchandising. Go to teespring.com and make sure you get you a Goods T-shirt. It's where the real money's made on YouTube, not on the AdSense or all the Patreons. We need you to go and buy a shirt. That way we're no longer poor.
We've been waiting for a long time. Yes, we've been waiting for a long, long time. We've been waiting for a long time. But we ain't gonna wait no more. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And what the hell? We're back?
I know, this is crazy. I almost thought I was just doing the show by myself for the rest of my life now.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back in the boom boom room.
Oh man, it's actually really, really good, man. I missed you. I mean, we had Art back last week, so to get you back, now all we gotta do is figure out where Aspen's at.
I was here in spirits. If you look at some of Terrence's old videos, you can see my cup spinning, and I wasn't even here.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So it was my spirit.
I
was here. That's the way it goes. Hey, but congrats on my boy here. He actually put out a lot of good content out there for you guys. I was on hiatus, had to do a lot of things for my job, so I wasn't able to come around. But T-Bone made sure that you guys had a lot of content, and I hope you enjoyed it. There was a lot of pretty good stuff out there, and it's time to get this ball rolling.
Let's go.
Release the Snyder Cut. What? I thought this was just a hashtag that was just gonna be, just like a regular whatever, just something that's just for the kids to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it was until they decide, oh, we can make some money off this.
Because of do you blame the freaking pandemic for that?
Yeah, I mean, there's like, hey, we got a streaming channel coming up, and I mean, if they really want to see this Snyder Cut that bad, we can charge them for that. Get some money out of it.
We did a You Don't Hate on Justice League a while back, and we
Are we gonna do You Don't Hate the Snyder Cut?
We don't hate the Snyder Cut. But we did that show, and I remember doing it with Art, and we had talked about that whether or not the Snyder Cut was ever gonna happen, come to light and all that stuff, okay?
Right.
So 100,000 signatures for petitions to have this done by fans, and then the hashtag going crazy on social media.
Right.
Kind of convinced those freaking Warner Brothers executives and the coronavirus, COVID-19, to actually think about it.
We can't put no movies out right now, so let's
go ahead and do this Snyder Cut that they want.
All right.
So it is going to be exclusively released for HBO Max in 2021.
Okay.
What do you think?
I will wait and sign up till 2021 when the Snyder Cut comes out.
Oh, just wait, bootleg and boot-ray, and there you go. Download it. I mean, no.
We don't talk about that on live on air. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the differences are. Listening to Zack Snyder and all of his little panels and interviews, he makes it seem like it's vastly different. I don't think it's that much different. I think there might be a few scenes that might be different. It may play out a little different. I think we may get to see more of the dark side thing that he hinted in BVS. I think we may get to see more of that little arc that they were going in. But I don't think it's going to be like mind-blowing, like, oh my God, why didn't we get this version of this movie? I think it's just going to be like, the unrated version of DVDs that we used to get back in the day, and it was like, oh, there was an extra scene here. There was like extra scene there.
One F-bomb, and that's what made it unrated.
Now, I do know that they were talking about the budget for this. The WB's going to give them some money for this, right?
At first, it was $20 to $30 million for the film, okay? Mm-hmm. But today, it was actually announced that it's going to be a little bit more towards going either at 30 or over 30 to get this stuff done.
So does that mean reshoots, real extra scenes, not just some cutting room floor stuff?
I think there are going to be a lot of, well, you know what? We'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
But at first, the actors were all in to return. I'll just start with that. The actors were all in to return, and they wanted to get this vision done. Zack Snyder originally left the production because of a tragedy in his family. So I can understand why the actors really wanted to be there for him, and let's get this thing done. So it was said that all of them were excited to do it. They actually had a Man of Steel watch party and all that good stuff. So there was some excitement there.
Right.
Unfortunately, the studios have come out and said that the actors will not be involved in any kind of reshoots. So
this is cutting room floor stuff then.
It's a possible that it is cutting room floor stuff, or they're just trying to mess with you, like, they're pulling a WWE on you and like, no.
Or could we just get maybe they won't do like full reshoots, but they'll redub some they'll do voiceovers to kind of redub some of the lines, maybe change some of the dialogue.
More than likely, they will do that. Plus, they're gonna finish up and polish up a lot of the CGI
because it needs, $30 million will need to fix Steppenwolf because that was ridiculous what they did. It's like a WB, come on, man. The X-Men Origin CGI they gave us, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, dude,
that was awful. Why'd you bring that up?
Because Steppenwolf was horrible.
But it was nowhere near the freaking cartoon claws that he had.
See, Fox,
What is wrong with you, Fox?
Don't follow the mistakes that Fox already made, WB. So if they gave him $30 million, I better see some amazing CGI in this movie at that point.
I think that
I better not see that weird jump that Batman did to land his Superman land at the beginning when he was like maybe 5 feet up and he just jumped down and did a whole superhero landing. I was like, that's stupid. Anyway, I'm not bashing Justice League right now, but I was like, I want to see my money used somewhere where it's gonna benefit the movie. Take that jump out. He better be jumping from like 20 feet up and then making that dumb landing. Steppenwolf better look like he could walk into my living room at this point. I better look at that movie and be like, oh man, he's gonna take over the world. The Flash's run with this better stop.
I never got off to that. I hope they do something different with that.
Fix all of that with this $30 million.
Okay.
If y'all fix that, I would be like, man, I love the Snyder cut.
More than likely, this new version of Justice League will pretty much be a one and done. It's gonna basically cap off the Man of Steel BVS, and now this Justice League as a trilogy, even though it's part of the bigger DCU, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it will not set up any new sequels. It's not going to set up any kind of new timelines or anything like that. Even though Zack Snyder had a 5-picture deal, it will not continue the Snyderverse, as we're calling it.
The Snyderverse.
The Snyderverse.
The 2 movies he did.
Justice League will be
two and a half. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's get into this. So there are going to be a lot of additions and some that have actually already been filmed, but this is some of the things that you might see in the Snyder cut. Right? All right. Darkseid. You mentioned that right now.
I figured that's a definite. We're probably he will now be. We didn't really get a post credit. I don't believe in Justice League. We didn't really get a post credit, right?
Well, yeah, we did. It was them racing.
Oh God, that didn't even count.
Yeah.
But so that's how much I forgot about it. That didn't even count. I would assume that we will probably get a Darkseid post credit. They'll definitely give me. He'll spend money to do Darkseid. There's some CGI and making Darkseid.
Well, actually, he'll actually be in the movie.
In the movie,
not
so like
post credit, like in the movie. Like he'll actually be a little.
Steppenwolf, go to Earth and retrieve my mother boxes.
Yeah. Go to Earth. Welcome to Earth.
Retrieve my mother boxes.
So he will appear. The dream. That,
do you think they'll Bumblebee this like the Bumblebee tuna? Do you think they'll? Do you think they'll Bumblebee this one where like, hey, everybody's complaining about actually seeing Cybertron and blah blah, and just throw that like, hey, this is everything that you wanted. We throw it in like a little beginning scene.
Rise of Skywalker is proof that fan service does not work.
I mean, true.
So don't do this. Don't do that to Justice League. Go
it worked for Bumblebee.
Go with your very true also.
Worked for Bumblebee.
But they're gonna. It looks like they're gonna explore a little bit more of the dream that Batman had in the apocalyptic world when he was, Mad Max, Mad Bat.
Mad Bat.
Batmax. Something like that.
Batmax. I like Batmax better.
So they're gonna probably go a little bit more into that. All right. Anyway,
we're going into the dream. That's where I thought that Justice League was really gonna go, and when I thought of the Zack Snyder cut, when he was doing Justice League, I thought that they were gonna follow Injustice when he made the whole thing that Lois is the key, and you gotta watch out.
I would have loved it.
I thought that they were gonna go with it, and I think I feel like Josh Whedon changed that direction.
Especially when they kind of were going in that direction with BVS.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like
they
were trying. Zack was trying to do because me and him are homies. Zack Snyder was trying to do Injustice, like that. His darker DC cinematic universe was because he was trying to give us Injustice.
I like that. I thought it would have been
everybody
great.
like frowned on how dark it was, even though Injustice is super dark. And I guess if maybe he had said, I want this universe to be more like Injustice, then people would have got it. And then when he gave us
the Snyder Cut is in Justice League.
I would hope, man. It's just like we're like
no. Injustice League.
Injustice. There's actually an Injustice League in the comics, though.
Anyway,
so I kind of want to see, after we poo-pooed on it and said that we didn't want a dark universe for Justice League or the characters themselves, I kind of want to see now what he's done. So I'm not opposed to seeing this thing. If that's what he's gonna give us, at least it's different, and I could say, okay, maybe it could be worthwhile the money and the time and the effort that went into getting this thing to come out. So
okay, so the problem I had, or a lot of people had, with BVS was the fact that Superman is not a dark character.
no, he's supposed to be like the ray of light.
But he was like he was the gloomiest of the whole
Yeah, he was.
movie. He was the gloomiest part of the whole movie.
His dad died in a tornado. He could have saved him from.
So I mean, if they would have gone that route, then it would have been a little bit more. There would have been a lot more substance to that version of Superman, and reasoning of why he was that way. And then the third act would have, or the third film would have been perfect to either redeem him or whatever. Right. But that didn't happen. If you're right, that would be awesome if that was the case. So going and speaking of Superman in the black suit. There's the scenes in there with him wearing the black suit, whether it's through whether it's when he's resurrected or if it's a flashback scene or what. There is also a scene where he meets Alfred. That was actually shown in the trailers. But people were debating on who that was, but you can see the red cape. So you got that, and then you have the part of Lois and her importance on how she is pretty much the rock that pretty much grounds him once he's resurrected to basically think like normal instead of being crazy, because he was pretty crazy when he got when he got resurrected.
I've been dead. You guys barely came and visited me. I'm killing y'all.
Do you bleed?
I know, right? So I mean,
from Superman's standpoint, piggybacking on what you were talking about earlier, what do you think?
I mean, if you're the only problem I had in the original Justice League is just the fact that he was resurrected and then he had to fight with them, and I thought that it was forced. I didn't get why. If you were gonna do something like that where they had to fight Superman, they could have done because literally in BVS they gave us 3 different storylines with the death of Superman. They could have gave us the reign of Superman.
They gave us so many stories in that one film.
Yeah, they could have kind of given us and I know we were like, oh well, if they're giving us that, you hated that too because they forced another storyline in it. But I would have preferred the reign of Superman for the Justice League movie outside of Steppenwolf to talk about him coming back from the dead, where you got the multiple people. Trying to say that they wanted to be Superman. I would have preferred that, and at least that would have gave me more of a reason for them to fight Superman.
As a Justice League movie, or as just a completely different sequel?
No, I mean the Reign of Superman can be a Justice League movie because you have all of these Superman and who is the correct one, and it's having to deal with everybody else. So and then having to fight Cyborg Superman not Cyborg Superman. Was it Cyborg Superman or the Eradicator? No, Eradicator was the thing. Cyborg Superman, having to fight Cyborg Superman, having to fight him at the end, and then we could have done we could have had a whole reason of why he had the mustache. We could have done all that stuff. Could have made sense. But all of this is kind of derailing the Zack Snyder talk. But I would be okay with what was the original thing? See, this is why I don't do this show by myself.
We're talking about Superman's role when he comes back in the black suit, or Lois's attempt to be the Rock to ground him into the reality, I guess, the new reality.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think that. Okay, well, real quick. Since we're on that subject, and there's so many different arcs that you just said, especially with so many subplots in BVS.
Right.
Can this be considered Justice League Part 2 instead?
No, because they're gonna basically retell the same story, though.
But we don't know that. We don't know what it is.
I mean, he only got $30 million, man. He can't redo a whole story.
No, but we don't know what his story from Joss Whedon could be completely different. Is what I'm saying. No parademons or very.
Okay.
What if they arc it to where this is the next?
It'd be Justice League 1.5.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like Civil War was. It was.
Yeah, Avengers 2.5. Yeah, exactly. So. That'd be interesting, man. You got to think about it. I mean, that way they actually have a chance to take off a little bit more, like branch out. I know I just said that they're not going to do. This is not to set up sequels. This is not to set up other films. But that would be kind of dumb not to do that in a way, because that actually helps you to establish the DCEU in the first place. You know, especially if it's a completely different story. If it's a completely different story, then why not?
What if he just does it as like it's the same movie, but with like an epilogue?
Maybe.
It's the same movie, but all the stuff that got cut out, he can kind of mix it together and just like 5 years later. Not to copy the Avengers. 5 years later.
Yeah, but
5 years later, and then like Darkseid shows up, and then Batman's going crazy, and all of this stuff is going on, and all of the scenes that got cut out, he could put them as like Steppenwolf left, whatever timeline you want to say goes by, and then this extra stuff that was on the cutting room floor happens, and that continues the rest of the story.
Yes, exactly.
So it is kind of like a 1.1.
It's a possibility. You can do it.
Like I said, as an epilogue, that would be cool. But
Yeah.
then you feel like he could just do the epilogue by itself. It really doesn't have to hold another Justice League cut. You can just say the Justice League 0.5 edition.
Okay, well, how about this? They show all the events that happened in Justice League, and then Diana wakes up, and it never happened.
You're gonna Dallas this?
You're Dallasing this. You're the second person that's made that comment. All right. Star Labs. We return back to Star Labs, where that old crazy Miles Dyson is still messing around with freaking cyborgs, creating fucking robots. But yeah, there's a.
Oh yeah, because we get all the cyborg scenes too
Yeah,
that we
got a
didn't
lot,
get.
right. So there's another shots of some Star Labs, some Star Lab things going on. You got Dyson in. I'm not Dyson. We got
Miles Dyson.
every time I see him and he's
Terminator and Justice League crossover. Miles Dyson.
Well, frick, I'll just say it. Dyson's at it again, like I said. Yeah. And then he does it. Anyway,
And that's how that mother box opened up.
and there's an appearance of the second Adam. I guess there's two Adams. And the second Adam is in there, but not in uniform or anything like that, not in costume, but the character is there.
I'm not familiar enough with the Atom, and like I said,
Me
I
neither.
didn't even watch the CW to even support the Atom. But the okay, whatever they give me for the Atom, I'm gonna be like, all right, that's cool, that's the thing. So
All right.
I would like to see if there were more characters that were available or things that really got cut out of this film. I would like to see them added back in. So I mean, if it's more characters, I'll be fine with that.
Okay, so let's go into a little bit of BVS and the introductions of the Flash.
Okay.
And Aquaman and Cyborg.
Right.
They were introduced in footage on a drive, in a file. That's how they were introduced.
Can we see all of those scenes outside of the footage? Like, what else was going on in
Right.
those scenes?
So none of that happened. I mean, none of that happened. I mean, none of that was like no character development or anything was
Right, it was
happening
just
with that
like-
because they were just showing what they can do and all that. This particular version that he had actually did dive a little bit more into character development of all three of them.
Okay, that's cool.
So Cyborg testing his powers,
Right.
going back,
Saying booyah.
saying booyah, and waffles. They do
I
show
know you guys hate the
Teen Titans. It's hilarious. But they also show Iris in the Flash. They show.
Oh,
Iris.
really? They
Yeah.
had actually cast an Iris?
Yes, they did. Yes,
oh,
they
wow,
did.
okay.
So you have a little bit of that, and then Aquaman. There's a lot more Atlantis. So there's
Okay.
a lot more Atlantis scenes in there
With the bubbles.
where he's talking to Mara and all that. So there's a lot more of not behind the scenes, but like a little bit more detail into who they are as people.
So the original Justice League was how long? Like,
Original Justice League,
2 and some change?
About 2 and change, yeah.
okay, so if they add in all these scenes, how long is this movie gonna be?
Man, you're probably looking
Unless you're
at,
cutting out all the Josh Whedon stuff, like
But that's just it.
the 5-foot jump for Batman.
And I gotta give him credit. Yeah, like he's throwing cards or something. I don't know. 52 pickup this week.
There you go, Ezra Miller, the new Gambit.
The new Gambit. There it is. Okay, so another aspect. Now, how about this one?
Okay.
There is a time travel element.
I mean, that's how we've been looking at they were gonna reboot this whole franchise.
Right.
Yeah.
But you just mentioned Endgames.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Because I was getting to that and then you said that. I was like, perfect. So time travel. Flash travels, time travels to help Cyborg because Cyborg tried to stop the unity of the mother boxes and failed. So Barry Allen goes.
Was this in a script somewhere?
This is the scenes basically, I guess. Somewhat. But Flash he time travels to help him do it again to help him break up the unity of the mother boxes.
Okay.
To stop the unity of the mother boxes.
That's
That's a possible scene that's in it.
When you
What do
do
you
time
think?
travel, it just makes everything worse because then all you think is about like, well, why didn't they just do the other thing all over again?
Okay,
like,
so
why didn't they just do?
Days of
We
Fu-
already dealing with this with Avengers, and it was like, well, all the plot holes they left in Avengers with time travel.
Not that many though.
We still ain't explained a lot of the Cap stuff.
Okay.
But just the ending stuff with Cap, it's like they left so many holes in it.
Yeah, but they left room, don't you think, to actually go in different directions?
Yeah,
Like
the room to explain how he put the ether back into Jane Foster. He explained that one and how
shut that one in.
and how he let Bucky get tortured and become the Winter Soldier.
How about this? That's how Natasha comes back because he gives Red Skull
Yeah,
Soul Stone.
Yeah, exactly. It's like how he dropped off the Soul Stone back on there and like
That's where Black Widow takes
had
place.
that whole conversation
Well,
with
that's a
Red
whole
Skull.
other subject. Let's stick
But I'm
to this
saying-
time travel
all right,
right
so
here.
what I'm saying-
Because what I was actually gonna ask you was, how did Days of Future Past do with the timelines? Did that confuse it a hell of a lot more
because
with the X-Men?
So here's the thing: is that the X-Men timeline was already jacked up. So when they did it, it was kind of like whatever because it's already screwed up. They screwed it
Okay.
up a long time ago.
So
and it
you
was
don't
like-
think the time travel element in this, if it's just
I think
that,
they should not do time travel unless they're doing Flashpoint. I think that's the only way they only pass they get is to do it in Flashpoint. If you do it anywhere else, all it does is just muck up the whole thing.
If they put remember there were so many subplots in BVS, they can have that as a.
That's what I said. Flashpoint will fix everything that
We'll
they
see.
felt like that they screwed up with.
But I was
which
gonna
is
say that-
Days of Future Past was supposed to fix everything that the X-Men screwed up, and then they just screwed it up some more right at the end of it. They were like, "Oh, that's Mystique." What? But anyway, so I don't think they should do any time travel unless it's Flashpoint. Say whatever
Okay.
time travel
Okay.
little plot threads you guys have for Flashpoint, that's the only time I'm gonna buy it because it's like reboot everything.
Well, as of right now, that's possibility that's one of the scenes. Second scene, Green Lantern appearance.
I would be okay with it if they make it Chris Pine.
But if it's not Hal Jordan or John Stewart, it's just a Green Lantern. Because that's what they showed in
I guess,
that cut of Justice League. They showed a Green Lantern, remember?
But I mean, comic book wise, I mean, why would they even know about the Green Lanterns until Hal Jordan has been signed up as a Green Lantern?
What is it, Evan? All this stuff happened a long time ago, but nobody knows what you're talking about.
Exactly. What is the original one? I want to give it to Hal. Was Evan? I want to.
Evan Kerr?
No, it was the
Evan
pink.
Sur?
Yeah, something like that.
Evan Sur or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. I'm not a big DC person, but he gave it to us like if they show it's him, but then why would they meet him before they meet Hal Jordan?
Very good.
Don't do that. It was like I'd rather it actually be a lantern that we know, whether it's Hal Jordan or John Stewart or the redhead bowl cut dude. I can't remember. You guys know who I'm talking about. It's like if it's gonna be one of those, make it somebody at least that we all know. It would make sense from somebody from Earth to do that. I'm not opposed to seeing Green Lantern be cast and added to this.
Martian Manhunter appearance.
Too
CGI.
soon. Too soon for that.
Well, there are certain characters, like possibly Miles Dyson. Not Miles Dyson. Not Miles Dyson. You
got it right, Miles Dyson.
No, the Colonel. the Colonel from Man of Steel. The one that Henry Lennox plays, or Harry Lennox plays. But he was supposedly Martian Manhunter, at times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was
okay.
actually. It's a possibility.
Okay.
That's what I read more or less.
Okay.
So him actually revealing that he is Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
And all that. So
That's fine. Even though Martian Manhunter was supposed to be like a detective, that's what the whole Manhunter thing and it's kind of like a private investigator.
Dog the Manhunter.
Yeah. Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Dog the Manhunter will be Martian Manhunter. All right. Anyway, so appearance of him in the CGI that could possibly be where some of that 30 million is going to be.
Yeah, I don't
if
want
they're
that.
going to make Martian Manhunter
Spend the $30 million
pure CGI
on the Flash run. And the
Movie
Batman
cards.
jump and Steppenwolf. I want to see my 30 million spent there. I don't want to see. I don't want to see him in this movie yet. Not yet.
I want to see. I wouldn't
Not
mind
yet,
seeing
no.
it.
That's too much. Then you got to explain too much about him.
More Lex.
There
There were a lot more scenes with Lex Luthor in this movie.
Yes.
And Batman visits him in jail. There are certain there's like a diary or something that he gets, or some kind of journal. That's part of it. So
I would
like to see Jesse Eisenberg a little bit
because there's I mean, they kind of skip some things from BVS to Justice League in regards to his character. And I'm sure Zach had some plan for his character the way that they left him when he was going crazy inside the cell. I want to see a lot more to explain, why, he did the things that he did. Because I remember they kept hinting that it was like, he kept having these visions, and that's why he went to the ship to do all this, well, not the ship, but that's why he went to the ship in the BVS, but his insanity from the visions from Darkseid and Steppenwolf and Apocalypse and all that stuff affected him outside of that. I would like to see where that goes. I mean, does that mean that he talked to Darkseid? Does that mean that he was in cahoots somewhere? I would like to see what they were going to do with that. They just ended him being crazy in prison and then just forgot about it after that.
Well, they showed the scene with him and Dead.
Even though I don't like him as, Lex, but I'm on the team of like, hey, it's what it is. Then you might as well just continue on and just make me like him going forward. And
like I said, the post-credit scene that he had with Deathstroke, I don't think that was enough. I know that they wanted to hint the whole Legion of Doom, but he
went from being crazy to being regular Lex again. I was like, there are some other things that happen.
Yeah. I would like it that he's Lex Jr. and not the real Lex. That's what
I'm not gonna do that.
Mark Strong is Lex Luthor. That's all right. So the third act of the film, which took place in Russia, it took place in the Whedon cut. It took place midday during the day in the afternoon. The original cut was actually at night.
To hide all that bad CGI.
Bad CGI, yeah, because it was at night. You can't see.
You can't see it. That's what they do.
The whole third act basically was different than what we put. So that could possibly be a change as well. What do you think?
This makes me think of. Do you remember the prequel to The Exorcist?
That movie sucked.
All right, so there were two of them, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then
one was The Beginning, the other one was Dominion or something.
Yeah, because they originally shot the first one and then didn't like it, and then reshot it again, and reshot it again, and it was like,
hey, we have all this footage. Hey, why don't we make this another? That's what I'm telling you. It could be a different Justice League.
The beginning of the film was the same in both of them, more or less. I mean, there were some differences, but it was like more or less it was basically the same setup, and then they kind of ventured off into their own thing. That's what you're trying to pitch to me, and I was like. Then which one becomes Dominion? Which one becomes the beginning and which one becomes Dominion?
Which Justice League becomes Dominion. The other one becomes Dominion.
Actually, to be honest, while we're talking about it, I actually like Dominion. It
was alright. And then in the third act, Darkseid arrives, tears it up, freaking Thanos style. What do you think?
I'm fine with it because it sets up Darkseid, because I don't believe that the way this movie ended, it set up Darkseid effectively. It did not. It just basically
he said his name. That was about for Darkseid.
I mean, if you weren't a comic book person, you had no idea what was going on there. You just thought that Steppenwolf was the big bad.
Tales from the Darkseid.
I mean,
Darkseid. Take Darkseid.
Take a clue from the Avengers. Set it up right. I would not feel bad if they gave us more Darkseid. I would be happy about it because they did a crappy job in setting up Darkseid and him coming and what everything really meant in the grand scheme of things. With Steppenwolf being there, they did a really bad job at that. Sorry, Josh, we did a really bad job at that. So if the epilogue gives us more to figure that out, I'm fine with it.
Okay, so the actor, I apologize. Terrence will put it up there, down there. Hopefully he does. Right? Nope, no, still nothing. Anyway, but they are gonna have this actor come in and do the work for Darkseid. Whether he's gonna be, it's possibly gonna be a whole CGI. He voices it, or he's actually gonna be in motion capture. Who knows? But they do have an actor there already for that, and whether or not he's part of that 30 million, who knows? But
it's who's the guy played Thanos?
Brolin again.
Josh Brolin. I had like 7 Joshes in my head earlier today, and I can't all.
Josh Gad.
What? Josh Gad, Josh Whedon, Josh Brolin. Too many Joshes in Hollywood, by the way.
Josh and Chris. That's all. Josh and
Chris's and Joshes. But yeah, so they they get him to do Darkseid. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, he's already Cable, so I mean, why not?
So a lot of that 30 million looks like it would be on visual effects.
Okay.
Character development. More dialogue. Snyder had 90% of complete footage. So the movie was 90% complete.
Right.
And it was a completely different vision, right? So, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a completely different movie.
Okay. Or Josh just kind of reworked some of the scenes and added in a couple of things to kind of further the continuity of it and cut out a bunch of things that he didn't like, and it's the same movie with just some extra scenes. I'm saying it's the same movie with some extra scenes.
So, if it goes well, will they make this canon?
Yeah, of course. Trust me, they're already thinking about how to make Joker canon.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be canon to Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Oh, can we talk about the Robert Pattinson when we get done with this? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I heard a rumor about that.
Ooh, we gonna talk some. We gonna talk
a
some
rumor
rumors.
about Mr. Pattinson.
All right, so that's some Justice League comes out on HBO Max 2021. So hey, you know what? When director sees like they gave Snyder $30 million to finish his movie. Well, you know what? I didn't like my movie.
I want to finish my movie too.
David Ayers wants a director's cut. Release the Ayer cut of the Suicide Squad.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
I don't think nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see
The Joker cut, because that's the all that was missing on there.
Release just do an official Joker snippet, the prologue to the Suicide Squad.
Okay, so
Release the prologue to the Suicide Squad. Just do that with the Joker scenes. There you go.
I'm okay with that. But you know what? Like, you have X-Men Days of Future Past, we were talking about it a little while ago. When that was released, there were scenes with Anna Paquin that came out in that movie where she really didn't have that many lines, but she was in the movie.
I don't think it needed to be added in.
She did get credit. She did, they cut her scenes, but she did get credit. So they released the Rogue cut of Days of Future Past on Blu-ray. So how about the Joker cut, release on DVD or Blu-ray, and you don't need to 4K, you don't need to worry about nothing else. Just release the Joker cut, add the Joker scenes, because that's all that was really missing in that movie.
Okay.
And even though, look, there was a change in tone in the movie. We talked about that before.
So that was gonna be my, because I had two questions, and I was like, one.
Okay, so
are we doing it? Are we talking about the Ayer director's version of this movie, or are we just talking about the Joker scenes we didn't get to see? Because David Ayer, very well known that like they recut his movie. They recut his movie. They brought somebody else in to kind of spice up his movie because they didn't like the tone that he was going with. They wanted to make it more fun because a trailer was more fun than what the movie was. So it was like, no, make the movie like that. So they kind of pushed him off and recut his movie. He wants his original version of the movie to come out, which does include the Joker scenes, but his original version is gonna be different. A lot of the comedic elements to it. It won't just be the Joker it seems, but a lot of the comedic elements will be gone. It will be a darker film.
The tone will be consistent from beginning to end, not to where it was upside down, going back and forth, up and down, and all that. So.
So, like, do we want the Joker cut? I mean, do we want the Joker scenes, or do we want the David Ayer cut?
Well, the Joker scenes are in the Ayer cut.
Okay, so
but I would advertise it as the Joker cut.
As the Joker cut.
Because that would be...
Because that's great marketing right there.
Yeah, exactly. Great marketing. I would advertise it as a Joker cut. But out of those two, real quick, what movie would benefit more from giving a director's cut? Suicide Squad or Justice League?
Justice League. Nobody cares about the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad made more money than Justice League.
But nobody's sitting here clamoring for the David Ayer version of Suicide Squad.
This is very true. He's clamoring.
He's the only one that wants this movie to be out. You know what? I'm sorry. Him and Jared Leto are the only ones bitching and moaning about the movie not showing what was originally designed. Because Jared Leto is such an egotistical maniac. He was like, they cut my scenes. How dare they do this?
So what? So. Will it make a difference if a new cut of Suicide Squad, would it make a difference? One, and two, can that hashtag or that type of petition get 100,000 signatures?
Okay, look, it's the comic book fan base. Any petition that has to do with a comic book movie will get the signatures that they require to make an impact. I'm not gonna say
fix the Triple H run on Blade Trinity.
I mean, I don't know if the fan base for Blade Trinity is big enough to get that fixed, but for comic books in general and a comic book movie, hell, we could get Thomas Jane back as Punisher, and we make a petition right now. People will sign off on that.
Tell me where. I'll sign right now.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know, but don't give Kevin Nash blonde hair, please.
No, what I was gonna say, the reason why we can't do that, we can't do the David Ayer version of this movie is because they're already looking on how to make Joaquin Phoenix permanent.
Okay.
And if you just go back to referencing the original Joker, then we're back to Jared Leto again, and now we have to deal with the whole thing. People are already forgetting about Jared Leto was Joker. We're all thinking about Joaquin Phoenix as Joker.
Well, he just won the Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. We're forgetting that the whole damage thing happened. Where this is out of our brains. Don't pull the Band-Aid off and just reopen the wounds.
But you got to remember that Joker took place in the 70s, 80s, around that
Right.
time. So
Right.
who's to say that Joker is not like his son or something? Like
Who's to say that we need to think about
who
that
the
stuff?
fleck is you?
Look,
Fleck that guy.
let's X-Men this up and forget the timeline and just keep going. Let's just keep going.
Oh my God.
I don't think we really want to see these Joker scenes as much as Jared Leto makes it seem like these scenes are.
I don't think they would make that big of a difference.
They're
to be honest
not.
with you.
They're not. All it's going to do is define the relationship between him and Harley Quinn. The relationship between him and Harley Quinn wasn't the key point of that movie, outside of the fact that she was waiting for him.
But
that is it. It wasn't the main part of the film.
But and thank you, and that's what I was about to say. He was the villain that the Suicide Squad was built for.
Like the cartoon, it was like we all saw the cartoon. That was fine the way it worked. That's not how they set this movie out.
But that's the air cut. The air cut was basically Arkham. Assault on Arkham.
So you said like when they didn't recut the CGI monsters in there.
Well, I'm just telling
Air
you.
had CGI monsters.
But pretty much the way it looks is that he was making Assault on Arkham.
I don't
that
think
would
he
have been
was.
completely different.
I don't think he. I think he was making
Which would bring freaking Affleck back as Batman.
I think he was making hip shake the Shakira witch and the and CGI monsters. This is what he planned. They just recut like the tone of the movie was just recut. That's it. This is his film. They just recut the tone.
So, Justice League over Suicide Squad.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. All right. So
what other ones are we talking about?
What other movies got kind of hosed and deserve a remake
Okay.
or a touch-up, whatever you want? Boob lift, I don't know.
Okay. Let's hear it.
All right, we start with Ant-Man, the Edgar Wright cut.
The Edgar Wright cut. So the Ant-Man that we saw was. I'm gonna pause that. What's up? Yeah.
You messing up the show, man.
Okay. We're here.
Tell me to bring ice.
Okay. Bring some ice. If you can, bring some ice. Or some beer. One of the two.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some ice or some beer. One of the two.
Or liquor.
Or don't. Just hurry up. Just bring your ass. Just bring your ass. All right. Bye.
Can you put your ringer off, please?
Nobody cares about me. I just can't believe
Put your ringer off. No, man, we was jamming.
all the shit that happened behind the scenes.
We was jamming.
All right. What the fuck was I leave off on? With the Ant-Man cut.
I'm gonna do it all over again.
Connect already. Yeah. All right, it'll connect.
3, 2, 1.
There. Now it wants to freaking connect. There we go.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So what other movie got hosed that needs maybe another touch-up, another breast augmentation? Well, how about we start with Ant-Man, the Edgar Wright cut.
Okay, so the Ant-Man that Edgar Wright did was like 90% done. Just like we talk about like Zack Snyder was like 90% done. Like, no, they were not 90% done. Was written and set up and storyboard and everything like Edgar Wright had to do with the story and everything, the screenplay. He was in on everything, and then he had a disagreement with Marvel as far as what he wanted to do, some changes that he had that Marvel didn't want him to do. But the director that they brought in, which I can't remember his name right now, the director they brought in, he just shot whatever Edgar Wright had. So I think we got the Edgar Wright cut without the little things that Edgar Wright wanted.
Okay. So do you know any of the
things that he
details
wanted? He never really said. He just said he had a disagreement with them on some things that he wanted to do, and he felt like he was being too tied down. So he just got about. But everything that he did, the director didn't even come and change anything that Edgar Wright had already done. He just shot his movie.
Well, because it looks, I mean, when you look at Ant-Man, good flick, but when you look at it, it is a lot like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of similarities to Iron Man.
It is Iron Man.
So little Iron Man.
It's a little Iron Man.
So yeah, I don't really know how much of a difference.
Okay.
Now Edgar Wright did Baby Driver.
Yeah.
Now, if it was that kind of action and that kind of car chases, I'm in.
So Edgar Wright has like is known for a comedic tone, and like he does action well. Like Scott Pilgrim, that's his too. So
okay.
Like the way his cinematography is really good. So that's why when you look at Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2, it seems like they're vastly different, because Ant-Man 1 was definitely an Edgar Wright movie. Ant-Man 2, I don't know what the hell they did in Ant-Man 2.
So you think that maybe Ant-Man 1 was more of an independent film, the way he had it, and Ant-Man 2 was more of a commercialized, already blockbuster type of film? Well, I mean, it was after,
they were trying. It was with Marvel
after Infinity War. So
Marvel was trying to force a bunch of things into Ant-Man 2. So I mean, yeah,
okay.
Whatever. It doesn't need one, because I think we got what Edgar Wright's original version was.
All right, sticking with the comic book. Let's go with Fan Four Stick, your favorite. Fantastic
with Josh
Four.
Trank.
Josh Trank cut.
Release the Trank. No, don't release the Trank cut. This is like, no. The only thing I want from the Trank cut is all the action scenes that he wanted. That what is it? Fox, right? Fox said, nah, we're not paying for that. I want those scenes, because we talked about. And
I want consistency with Michael B. Jordan's mustache.
One
One minute he has it, another minute he doesn't.
No. If you want to talk about consistency, the girl who played Sue Storm, I want her hair to be real hair and then wig. I want one or the other. I want one or the other. I literally sat in the theater. I was like, wait, her hair was real a second ago. Why is she wearing a wig now? But that's how much they changed. That's how much they reshot and recut his film.
I don't even remember who's really in that movie except Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller. I don't even know who the girl was.
Oh god,
and
she's actually important too.
And then the thing is Jamie Bell. Yeah. I remember him from freaking Jumper.
You, sexist. Can't remember the one woman in the whole movie.
Who played the girl? I can't remember who played the girl.
So I feel bad for Josh Trank, but still, the movie was garbage. Whether we got the action scenes or not. I know we defended the original Fantastic Four.
Didn't we do the Silver Surfer?
Yeah.
No, we did that.
No, we did the original one.
Yes,
We said it was boring because it didn't have enough action scenes. I don't think action scenes would have saved Fan Four Stick, because I think that the movie just wasn't good to begin. It was like they did Doom bad, and it was like, I don't want to see the Josh Trank version. As much as I want to see that thing jump from the helicopter and land on the ground and stuff like, i.e. Hulk, as much as I wanted to see that scene, I'm done with this. Please, Marvel, do this one over.
Kate Mara.
Yeah, look it up.
Kate Mara was Sue Storm.
Yeah.
All right.
Her and her wig.
Now we are going to. No, the wig was played by somebody else. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of a rule of two slide here, and let's go with Star Wars, the Solo cut, Phil Lord and Chris Miller version of Solo. Tell me.
All right, so
talk to me.
When they were first talking about it, what's Kathleen Kennedy, right? When she had to make
nobody mentions that name here in the boom boom room.
When she had to make a thing about it, or at least when they were talking about it, they were saying that there was too much comedy because they hired comedy directors to do Solo.
They did the freaking Lego movie.
Yeah, it's like
come on.
They hired comedy directors to do the Solo film, so they didn't want as much comedy in it, which was funny because it had comedic elements in it.
Ron Howard did Splash.
Yeah, I know, right?
He did Night Shift.
So
he knows comedy. He's Opie.
They didn't want that in the film. They wanted it to be a little bit more serious. But then you think about Thor Ragnarok, which was a more serious film for Marvel anyway, and it was like heavily action became stand-up comedy.
Yeah, because you look at Thor 1, which was more of a Shakespearean type of Kenneth Branagh movie that that he's normally making, like Macbeth and all that. And then you go to Dark World, which was more of a fantasy, type of film, like Willow and shit, something like that. And then you go with friggin' Ragnarok, which is still, out there, different worlds and all that. Great. But it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. I mean, Taika Waititi did a freaking awesome job on it.
And I was the person that walked away. I was like, man, I didn't get what I wanted out of a Thor film because I wanted an action film, but I wasn't disappointed with what I got. I was like, it was a great comedy. It just wasn't an action film.
It was funny.
It was a great comedy.
It was hilarious. But it highlights freaking Chris Hemsworth as a different side of him. That he knows comedy.
Right.
So that highlighted his ability on that, and that's why Ragnarok worked.
Yeah. So I think I kind of want this film. If they had an actual version, because I don't know how far they got into it, because I just know around the time that they were doing the reshoots for the guy who played Solo in it, because they had to reshoot a bunch of his scenes and send him to acting school and blah, blah, blah. I don't know how much they got filmed, but I want to see what their idea was. I want to see the solo comedy,
I don't see him having the same
the
type
solo
of-
stand-up.
I don't see him having that same comedic timing that Hemsworth has.
Yeah, probably not. But
I don't see him pulling it off.
But what about Donald Glover? He could have pulled it off.
Donald Glover could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
Lando!
Maybe
Lando,
that
written by
Lando
Chris
spin-off film.
All right. And next one. How about this one? We're talking about. You were talking about the how long Justice League would have been. How about this? Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. George Lucas 4-hour cut.
No.
No. I believe
I don't want to see that.
there is a 4-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, so here's the difference, and this kind of ties back into Justice League too. But the Hateful Eight,
Okay.
they released it on HBO.
Okay.
They did a 6-part series because we know Quentin Tarantino films like a ton of crap, right? And everything he films, he feels is cinematic gold, and he can't lose any of that stuff. To make him cut it down to like 2 or even 3 hours sometimes, it's not giving his full
Kill
image.
Bill's two.
Yeah.
Kill Bill's one.
He had to
movie.
divide it into 2
They
movies
made it
because
parts,
it was
yeah.
so damn long.
Right.
So he put out 6 episodes, about an hour apiece. So the damn movie was like 6 hours long. When I watched it, I don't feel like I gained any extra knowledge. There was anything that I felt like everything I saw in those 6 episodes, I literally watched in 3 hours of the original cut of the film. So I don't want to see Revenge of the Sith.
Okay,
just
wait
to
a minute.
pat some extra.
But you're looking at a Tarantino type of film that is actually a lot. It's dialogue heavy. It may be violent, but not as there's a lot of talking in the Tarantino movie at times.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Revenge of the Sith, I'm pretty sure there would have been a lot of politics and all
we
that.
would
we have gotten
we would have
more
saw the younglings die.
Yeah. Would we have gotten more Vader? Would we have gotten more Vader? Would we have gotten, more of that turn? Yeah, as bad as it would have said.
We would have saw Order 51 fully carried out.
66.
Order 66?
Why are you?
Why do I keep screwing that up? It's Order 66? It is Order 66.
Order 66 cut.
Whatever. The
Order 51 cut.
It's a rule of 2. I don't need to know this stuff. The order where they kill the Jedi. Where do I get Order 51 from?
That's like the Order 51 cut. That's the one. That's a 4-hour cut.
Yes.
All right. So you wouldn't want to see a 4-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith.
No.
I would want to see a 4-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith.
No.
If there was a lot more battles with Grievous, if there's a lot more battles as Vader, if there's a lot more battles or a lot more scenes with him, of him,
I don't want to hear that for 4 hours.
him having the higher ground. I don't know. All right.
No, and like back to the Justice League, because I also heard too that like they may release it in a long form, kind of like Quentin Tarantino did, and make it a series and just put all the extra footage so they don't have to recut it back down. Say, hey, here's the scenes that you didn't get a chance to show. Let's just add everything back in, including what Joss Whedon did, and just make it 4 episodes long. Okay. So I mean, I would be okay with seeing that for what it is. Not replacing the original one. I don't want to see a 4-hour version of that.
I would. You're wrong. All right. So the last one is, and this is for you, Jeff. This is for Jeff Garcia, who cannot stand the freaking sequel trilogy. But this is for you.
Alright.
Episode 9, the Colin Trevorrow cut, where he wanted to actually film in space.
I forgot.
But if you guys have seen the concept
Was it
art,
gonna have real lasers?
when you have seen the concept art of Episode 9 and the way Colin Trevorrow had it, where there was no redemption for Ben Solo, Kylo Ren was completely seduced and he was the dark side, and they would have carried out that everything as far as what he had as far as storyboards and concept art is amazing, and it is online. Please check it out and you'll see what I'm talking about. Leave in the comment below what you think. But I would have loved to see the Colin Trevorrow cut. Based on what he did with Jurassic World, I think he would have fucking done an awesome job with Episode 9.
I feel 2 ways about the Trevorrow cut.
Okay, what?
One way I feel about it is that when I got all the storyboard and the ideas and the script and stuff like that, I didn't care for it. I was like, I don't think this is better than what we got. The other way I feel about
And then you saw Rise of Skywalker.
That's after I saw Rise of Skywalker. I feel like both of them were flawed. But the other part that I think about it, at least it would have made more sense, and it wouldn't have spent half the movie trying to undo what the other movie did.
Exactly,
That's
and that is
the only
why
problem I have with it. It's like it spent so much time trying to undo what the other movie did. At least with the Trevorrow version,
it would have continued.
Just
it would have just
on.
continued. Don't worry about it. Let's put our energy somewhere else.
Though
And-
there are some things in the Trevorrow cut from the script and stuff. I'm like, I disagree with that. I don't want to see
cool.
that. But
And I'm pretty
that's
sure-
fine.
Yeah.
But so I don't know how I feel if a Trevorrow cut, which I know the Star Wars fan base is very, very vocal that they would want something like this, and if they could do what the DC universe has done and like the fan base has talked this into existence. I mean, Disney already has a streaming platform, so when they're like low on content, y'all might want to get onto those petition lists and get the Trevorrow cut out there.
If there are,
but at least it would make more sense.
if there are certain elements of his script and his art and what he wanted to, if you can't give him the whole episode 9, obviously you're not going to do that, but if you can take some of those images and some of
prologue
those,
it.
and make it and make it part of the next trilogy, episode 10, 11, or 12, I'm all for that too. Where the next antagonist will go that route, or the next protagonist will go that route.
Okay.
And there you go. But I think that a lot of the imagery and everything that he had in that concept art, I think would look beautiful on film, especially with certain parts of cinematography that they have for that, how they can actually execute these shots.
Yeah,
I
in
think
space.
No, like remember we used to talk about, and Jeff, I don't care what you say, Force Awakens was good. When you see that Apocalypse Now TIE Fighter shot, it looks like Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, it was great.
It was
great.
amazing.
It was great.
So there are certain things that Disney does get right when it comes to shot selection, and I think that they made a mistake not making this the way it was, but I have a feeling the family part of it and all that played a factor. But if they actually give it a chance and go this route, it would have been the next trilogy would be.
I'm fine
awesome.
with the Abrams cut. I'm not gonna be like boo-hoo, I didn't get the Trevorrow cut. But like I said, if you guys will it into existence, force will it into existence. I wouldn't be opposed.
LeVar
to
Ball this.
Yeah, like
Speaking
like Zach said, like you guys, Snyder cut this one into existence. If you guys can figure out how to get this into existence, if Disney wants to give him $50 million to try to recut and add in some extra scenes, I'd watch it. I watch it. I mean, I can't hate it any worse than I don't hate. I don't hate.
You don't hate Rise of Skywalker. Will be coming soon.
I don't hate Rise of Skywalker. It's a bad term I use. I don't hate. I can't. Not like's not even a good word I want to use. It can't be any worse than Rise of Skywalker.
I saw it the other day, and this was actually my 4th time seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be better.
I literally watched it 2 days ago. I watched it.
It was
with my
good.
son. It was good. I still have faults with it.
But it was more of a sequel to Force Awakens than it was.
It was. I still have faults with it.
And that's my
it's like,
problem
I
with it.
still
So,
don't know. Like in high.
I love it. Don't worry. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong.
In high altitude,
I
they
love
ride
Ridley,
horses
so
on top of a Star Destroyer.
So tell us what you think about everything that we talked about. Where did we get it wrong? Where did we get it right? Hit the comments below.
Please talk about how I rambled today because I haven't done this show in so long. So
Terrence, take us
I
home.
couldn't keep it concise today. I'm sorry. I had a lot, and talking to the camera by myself doesn't give me an opportunity to say all the things I want to say.
But you've been on camera without me around.
I know. But there's times that come up. Wait, what camera are we talking about? Anyway,
man.
so guys, we're back to doing podcasts again. Hopefully, if we can get this 2 weeks in a row, I'll be impressed. But if you guys enjoy the podcast and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so by clicking the subscribe button as well as the notification button, so that way you're aware if this thing comes out within the next month or so. If it comes up, you'll be notified when this video series comes out. But also to help the channel grow, we do have a Patreon at patreon.com/goods, where you can contribute at any amount to help us get better, as well as we have t-shirts that we're wearing right now for sale at Teespring. The link is at the beginning of this video and at the end, so please make sure you go and grab a t-shirt and help us out.
Hey, shout out to The Blend at John Channel out there on Twitter for actually buying one of our shirts.
Oh, he did?
And wearing it. I tagged you into that picture.
I didn't see that.
Well, either way, thanks. I appreciate it. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, we do. Appreciate that, man.
It's really great to be back. It's this quarantine has sucked, and I know you guys are out there trying to stay strong. So y'all keep pushing, y'all keep doing you guys, and it's good to be with everyone, with this fool over here, and we don't know where Art is. Who cares?
Says it's on his way.
Good to be back. For Aspen at home and Art, wherever the hell he's at, Manny.
Real quick, if you're still here, because we do these into the video little blooper things. If you're still here, look down. There's a link here for Patreon. If you guys like the show, please give us money. Give us money. We'll take a penny. We'll take a nickel. We'll take a dime. We'll take $1. We have some stuff on there that we're giving away on Patreon if you do contribute, because trust me, we need help. We need help. We want to buy new equipment, and we need an editor. Somebody who doesn't have to stay up in the middle of the night, or they don't have to stay up in the middle, but I won't have to do it. So please, down patreon.com/thegoods. It's in the link. Please do it. We appreciate it.
Top flight.